When most people dream about moving to Florida, they picture themselves walking along white sand beaches, palm trees swaying overhead, maybe sipping something cold while watching the sun set over the Gulf. It's a beautiful fantasy. Then they start looking at home prices in Miami, and that dream turns into a nightmare real quick. The average home in South Florida now costs well over $500,000. Tampa Bay isn't far behind. Even Orlando, which used to be considered affordable, has seen prices explode over the past few years. So people start to assume that living the Florida lifestyle means either being wealthy or going into serious debt. But here's what most people don't realize. Florida is a massive state with dramatically different price tags depending on where you look. And some of the nicest places to live aren't the ones you see on postcards. They're the towns that locals know about but outsiders completely overlook. Today, we're going to uncover where you can actually live well in Florida without draining your bank account. Before we dive into specific cities, we need to talk about what cheap actually means in the context of Florida. Because affordability isn't just about home prices. You could find a house for $200,000, but if your hurricane insurance costs $15,000 a year, you're not really saving anything. Florida has no state income tax, which sounds amazing until you realize the state makes up for it in other ways, such as property taxes, sales tax, and insurance premiums that have skyrocketed in recent years. So when we talk about affordable places to live, we're looking at the full picture. Housing costs, yes, but also insurance rates, proximity to jobs and amenities, overall cost of groceries and utilities, and quality of life factors like safety and things to do. A cheap place that's boring and dangerous isn't actually a good deal. We want nice and affordable. That combination is rare, but it absolutely exists. Let's start with the Gulf Coast, because that's where a lot of people want to be. The Gulf side of Florida has calmer waters, incredible sunsets, and a more laid-back vibe than the Atlantic coast. But places like Naples and Sarasota have become playgrounds for the wealthy. You're looking at median home prices pushing towards $600,000 in those areas. However, just a short drive from these expensive zip codes, you'll find towns that offer a surprisingly similar lifestyle at half the price. Cape Coral is one of the most interesting options on the Gulf side. It's a massive city by land area, actually one of the largest in Florida, built around an intricate system of canals. We're talking over 400 miles of canals, more than any other city in the world. Many homes have direct water access, meaning you can dock a boat in your backyard. A few years ago, you could find waterfront properties here for under $300,000. Prices have risen, but compared to nearby Fort Myers Beach or Sanibel Island, Cape Coral remains dramatically more affordable. The downtown area has been developing rapidly, with new restaurants and breweries popping up. The trade-off is that it's not directly on the beach. You'll need to drive about 20 minutes to reach the coast. But for the price difference, most people find that completely acceptable. Just north of there, Port Charlotte sits quietly in the shadow of its famous neighbor, Sarasota. While Sarasota has transformed into one of Florida's most expensive markets, Port Charlotte has remained surprisingly affordable. Median home prices hover around $300,000, and you can still find nice single-family homes under $250,000 if you're patient. The town has a slower pace, which some might call boring, but others call peaceful. You're close enough to Sarasota to enjoy its restaurants and cultural offerings, but you're not paying Sarasota prices to sleep at night. Charlotte Harbor offers excellent fishing, and the beaches of Inglewood are just a short drive away. For retirees or remote workers who don't need a bustling nightlife, Port Charlotte is one of the best deals on the Gulf Coast. Now let's move inland, because Central Florida has some options that might surprise you. When people think of Central Florida, they think of Orlando and the tourist chaos that comes with it. But step outside that Disney bubble, and you'll find genuinely affordable towns with their own unique character. Ocala sits about an hour north of Orlando, and it's unlike anywhere else in the state. This is horse country, rolling green hills, white fenced farms, and a landscape that looks more like Kentucky than Florida. Marion County, where Ocala is located, is home to more horses than people. The equestrian industry drives a lot of the local economy, but you don't need to own horses to enjoy living here. the cost of living is significantly below the national average. Median home prices sit around $280,000, and you can find homes with actual acreage for prices that would get you a tiny condo in Tampa. The downtown area has undergone a revitalization with local shops, restaurants, and a growing arts scene. The trade-off is that you're about 90 minutes from any major beach, and the summer heat can be intense without ocean breezes. But for people who want space, nature, and affordability, Ocala delivers in ways that coastal cities simply cannot. Lakeland is another Central Florida gem that flies under the radar. Positioned almost exactly between Tampa and Orlando, it offers easy access to both cities without the price tags of either. The historic downtown is genuinely charming, built around a series of lakes that give the city its name. You'll find cute coffee shops, local restaurants, and a farmer's market that draws crowds every weekend. Florida Southern College, with its collection of Frank Lloyd Wright architecture, adds a touch of culture. Home prices here average around $300,000, but the rental market is also reasonable compared to the bigger cities nearby. Young professionals and families have been discovering Lakeland over the past few years, and while prices have increased, it remains one of the better values in the Interstate 4 corridor. Gainesville deserves a mention too, even though it's a bit different from the other cities on this list. As home to the University of Florida, it has a college town atmosphere that keeps things lively. There's always something happening in football games in the fall, concerts, festivals, a food scene that punches above its weight for a city its size. The student population keeps the cost of living reasonable because businesses need to cater to people without much money. Median home prices sit around $270,000, and the rental market has options at every price point. The downside is that Gainesville is nowhere near a beach. You're looking at about 90 minutes to reach the Atlantic coast. But if you value culture, a younger demographic, and affordability over ocean access, Gainesville offers a lifestyle that's hard to match. Now let's head to North Florida, a region that most outsiders completely ignore. When people picture Florida, they don't imagine the Panhandle or the areas near the Georgia border. But that's exactly why these places remain affordable while offering a genuine quality of life. Pensacola sits at the western edge of Florida, closer to Alabama than to Miami. And honestly, that geographic quirk is part of what keeps it affordable. The beaches here are stunning white sand that rivals anything in South Florida, but the prices are a fraction of what you'd pay on the southeast coast. Median home prices hover around $290,000, and the cost of living overall sits below the national average. The downtown area has transformed over the past decade into a vibrant spot with excellent restaurants, live music, and a growing craft beer scene. Naval Air Station Pensacola brings military families and steady employment to the region. The catch is that Pensacola gets more weather than South Florida. Hurricanes track through this area more frequently, and you'll actually experience something resembling winter temperatures can drop into the 30s on cold nights. But for people who don't mind a mild winter and want beach access without coastal prices, Pensacola is one of the best-kept secrets in the state. Jacksonville is technically one of the largest cities in America by land area, and that sprawl creates interesting opportunities. The city itself has expensive neighborhoods, particularly near the beaches and downtown, but the outskirts and surrounding communities offer big city amenities with small-town prices. Areas like Middleburg, Orange Park, and the West Side offer homes well under $300,000 while keeping you within reasonable driving distance of everything Jacksonville offers. You get professional sports, an international airport, major employers, beaches, and a surprisingly good food scene, all while paying far less than you would in Tampa or Miami. The downside is that Jacksonville lacks the tropical feel of South Florida. It's more southern than Caribbean in its vibe. But for people who want urban conveniences at affordable prices, the Jacksonville metro area deserves serious consideration. Tallahassee often gets forgotten entirely because it's the state capital, not a tourist destination. But that's precisely what makes it affordable. The city runs on government jobs and two major universities, Florida State and Florida A&M. This creates a stable economy without the boom and bust cycles of tourist-dependent cities. Median home prices sit around $260,000, remarkably low for a city with this many amenities. The food scene has grown considerably. There's genuine culture and nightlife, thanks to the college population, and you're only about an hour from the Gulf Coast beaches near Apalachicola. Tallahassee also has more trees and hills than most of Florida, making it feel distinct from the flat, palm tree landscapes elsewhere in the state. For families and professionals who want affordability without sacrificing quality of life, Tallahassee represents one of the best overall values. So after looking at all these options, where's the actual winner? If we're balancing affordability, beach access, quality of life, and growth potential, Pensacola takes the crown. You get legitimate Gulf Coast beaches without paying Gulf Coast prices. The downtown is thriving. The cost of living remains reasonable across the board. And while hurricane risk exists, it's manageable with proper insurance and preparation. For people who want the Florida dream beaches, warm weather, a laid-back lifestyle without the Florida price tag, Pensacola delivers better than anywhere else in the state. But here's the real secret to finding your perfect affordable Florida town. The best place depends entirely on what you value. If you want waterfront property, look at Cape Coral. If you want space and land, explore Ocala. If you want culture and youthful energy, consider Gainesville. If you want urban amenities at lower prices, Jacksonville's outskirts might be your answer. Florida has something for everyone, but you have to know where to look. The million-dollar coastal cities get all the attention, but the real opportunities are hiding in plain sight. You just have to be willing to look beyond the postcards and explore the places that locals have known about for years. Because the nicest and cheapest place to live in Florida isn't some mythical unicorn, it exists. You just have to decide what nice means to you and then go find it.